Welcome to Fastang 444. Subscribe, please. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Getting off to such a great start today, having 2 wins in the first 2 games of the day. I made an error. Here I am again at the Bird's Head, and I realize that when the game starts, there aren't any drops here, and then the map opens. It asks me to pick a point I want to start at, so I realize, all right, let's move over to the Eagle's Head. That's the 3rd starting location that I usually start at. So over to the Eagle's Head we go. And normally there could be a drop right here, 1 or 2 to the left, up the hill, over to the right. I am not seeing a single drop anywhere around here. And I open up the map. I realize I can go all the way through Guanajuato and get inside of the next arena. But first, let's go up the hill. Looking back as I go up the hill, there are not any drops in this area. That's odd, actually. There is one way over there on the right. Thought about going over there, but it would have been bad positioning for me going away from the direction of the next arena, and if someone came along and engaged in a head-to-head with me, I also would be the wrong way driver. So let's go up here. Sometimes there are 2 drops off on the right, but there is one over here in the trees. Let's get this. All right, not bad. A level 4 BMW X5. This is a quick level 4. So on to that route that I like to take through Guanajuato. And I see those rocks there. I know to angle to the left. Oh, I just clipped that tree. Not a major deal. There is a vehicle ahead of me on the mini-map already in Guanajuato. So most likely they are taking vehicles that are in the city, car drops. So I decide before I go into Guanajuato to head over towards the Castle House that is north of Guanajuato and see if there are any drops over here. I am not seeing a single drop anywhere. This is odd, actually, that I would cover this much ground and not a single drop is around. So I don't know if maybe that vehicle that was in Guanajuato had already taken the drops that are around this area. So let's glance into the city. I'm not seeing anything, but I need to start making my way and get inside of the next arena here. And here's where I make a mistake. That tunnel that is straight ahead, I should take that tunnel. Instead, I decide to go off to the right. It was kind of a last-second decision here that potentially there could be some drops near some buildings that are over here, but I am really stretching the limit at getting inside of the next arena. And as I said, I made an error there. I should have gone through the tunnel, gone in through Guanajuato, and made my way over to where I would be near the Bat's Head, just inside of the next arena. And there aren't any drops over here. So this was a very bad decision on my part. Hopefully I don't regret that later in the game, because I am going to be outside of the arena here. There's, without a doubt, the arena wall is coming, and I'm going to be outside of it. Fortunately, not for that long. Let's see how much time is off of the timeout bar here. It's going to be around a second, and look at this. A Mercedes AMG GT and it has a top speed of a level 9 vehicle on the road. So this was a nice find. Alright, now let's start getting into head-to-heads here, making my way over. I do not see anyone on the mini-map. I was the only one that remained behind here. Let's take a peek at these drops. I actually thought about taking that Audi RS7, but I think the AMG GT has a slightly higher road speed, if not very close to, and it's one level higher, so alright. There was another drop that was farther off to the right there I possibly didn't look at, but here's a vehicle right here. Let's get into a head-to-head with them. They are in a level 4 BMW X5, and they were going away from the direction of the head-to-head. That is very bad positioning on their part. So let's head over to the road that's at the base of the mountain, which is where this head-to-head leads to. I have to watch out around this intersection. To the west are rocks on either side of the road, and then the lava field is just beyond that. Here's those rocks I mentioned. A lot of head-to-heads have been won and lost on those. I know all too well. Alright, let's get into a level 8 here. Let's see what is offered. Alright, RJ Anderson Pro 2 truck. I will take that and head back to the east, away from the progression of the game. And I'll open up the map. Look at where the arena wall touches in the west, and that triangular shaped intersection is within that arena. Put this overlay showing. I know it will be Final Arena 16. And I'll take that away. Look at that arena wall again. So let's see if I can't find a mid or lower level vehicle to engage in a head-to-head with. I do not see anyone on the mini-map yet. And still no. Okay. Let's get over here. Alright. Didn't roll over and reset, but there isn't anyone coming towards me, so the arena is shrinking, and sometimes there are high level drops away from everyone engaging in head-to-heads after the arena shrinks, away from where the final arena will be. So let's just pause here. Don't see any drops. So over here on the left, take a peek at that. The downside to doing this is two problems. If I don't find a higher level drop or find a lower or mid-level vehicle to engage in a head-to-head with, then I am wasting a lot of time that I could have been engaging in head-to-heads and leveling up. And car drop search was a waste of time, and still no one on the mini-map. We're down to 14 drivers, now 13 drivers, so those that are in this game are engaging in head-to-heads, leveling up. But I do have a bit of an advantage finding that Merc AMG GT Alright, let's take a peek at one last drop, and then I will head over to Horizon Mexico. So ghost drop, yes, that's still a problem. Let's not have any comments pertaining to that. It's still a problem. It hasn't gone away. Let's focus the comments on this game. It winds up being a pretty epic game here, so alright, let's just full send it and see if I can't catch someone to engage in a head-to-head with here. And perfect. Here is a level 7 Ferrari spinning their tires. Off I go. They were caught by surprise there. And this is actually one of my favorite head-to-heads. The intro to every single video was taken just ahead, where I clipped some rocks on the right in the AMG 1 and did a flip landing on my wheels, continuing on. I don't want to try and replicate that. I think that was a 1 in a million occurrence. Okay, over to this finish, close to that bridge there. Once you cross the ravine, get into a level 9. Let's see what is offered here. Alright, perfect. A Hoonigan Group A. And this is pretty much a level 10 speed vehicle. So I can use this in the final showdown. If I cannot engage in another head-to-head, I would be very happy to use this in the final showdown. Down to 5 drivers left. And I have to keep in mind here that I have roughly 1 second off of my timeout bar. I've made that error before where I forgot about that and left at my normal timing and was eliminated by the arena. And I've done it in level 10 vehicles where I was in position to possibly win the game. To slowly make my way around the perimeter, and I see someone just gotten into a Mercedes AMG 1 there. I was hoping they would be parked right here and I could engage in a head-to-head with them. Someone else just completed a head-to-head. We're down to 3 drivers left. Get into a Funko, so I am up against 2 level 10s. I was trying to catch them under the bridge in a head-to-head, but I think that was the vehicle that was eliminated. So, okay, here comes that Mercedes AMG 1. I'm going to engage in a head-to-head with them to see if I can get them to run out of position. And they do. Perfect. I will just stay here at the point that I like to lead from.
Head-to-head's complete. Get ready for the final showdown.
You can see on the map this point that I like to lead from. This is Arena 16. The range of time to leave is 20 to 23 seconds. I will leave it 23 seconds, keeping in mind I have 1 second off of my timeout bar, so I want to try and exit at 1 second. Here we go. Let's do this. Here's the Funko. They're going to be late on their exit. Here's the AMG 1. I have to go around them. They were trying to block me, which I can't say I blame them. They might be angry that I tricked them a little bit there. I exit right at 1 second, which is perfect. Exactly what I needed with that expired 1 second off my timeout bar. Now 1.5 seconds remaining. And the finish is over at the base of the mountain. And I've seen this finish point before, so I will angle to the left here and then go to the right and follow this road. It's off to the right and then angle off to the left to the road that parallels, and I actually should be farther to the left. I wind up hitting this bump and kind of do a forward flip barrel roll back on the road, and I thought the AMG-1 would get on the road and have the lead. They overshot the road, and I think they went off on the base of the mountain and stayed off-road. I am going to win this very easily against two level 10s, one being a AMG-1. This is the best start to a day I've ever had. First 3 games of the day, 3 wins. Yes!
Welcome to the secret society of the Illuminati! Oh, shh.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video along with all of my videos. And if you've been enjoying my content, subscribe, please. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers.